The big UFC 300 card goes down next week, but the UFC is going to the Apex to serve up an appetizer in the form of UFC Vegas 90, headlined by a middleweight rematch between Brendan Allen, who is on a 6-fight winning streak with his last loss coming against the opponent that he's going up against this weekend in Chris Curtis. Co-main event has a banger of a fight between Alexander Hernandez as he looks to take on Damon Jackson and try to notch his first win down at featherweight. Appreciate all the love and support we've been getting on this quick pick show, which is gaining traction every single week. I know you guys appreciate this format, getting straight to the point for every single matchup, and I'm glad that you guys are showing out in the comment section, dropping likes, dropping the views, and dropping that subscribe as well. Greatly appreciate that. PFL kicks off very shortly, but if you guys probably won't see this by the time PFL is done. But tomorrow, Friday, we got LFA going down. And then Saturday morning, we got KSW and Cage Warriors. If you guys are looking for breakdowns for those, check out the Lock of the Night Patreon page where I have written breakdowns for every single matchup and my track plays for those as well. So if you're looking for some extra action leading up to the UFC card, make sure you guys check out the Lock of the Night Patreon page. Link in the description below. All right. Hope you're laced up and ready to go because we're off and running with the first fight of the night, which goes down between Nora Cornolle and Melissa Mullins. I really expect Mullins to have a drastic advantage in the grappling realm where she should be able to get this fight and from there dominating Cornolle from that top position. And I think we'll see her secure a dominant position very quickly. And from there, she should be able to find the finish. Maybe the first round, probably the second round, but I don't think Cornolle will be able to withstand whatever Mullins is going to be dishing out, especially from that top position. Look for Mullins to make this look easy and get that finish inside the distance. Next up, we got Dylan Budka going up against Cesar Almeida. Two guys coming off the Contender Series, but I believe Almeida is the more skilled of the two here. And if he continues to show the grappling and clinch improvements we saw from him on the Contender Series, I expect him to keep this fight upright and really touch up and possibly finish Dylan Budka in the striking realm. But I'm going to take this fight to go to a decision, and I do believe it will be Almeida who outweighs the control time that Budka may be able to accrue, and by damaging him and making it look better for the judges, give me Almeida and Almeida by decision. Next up, we got Dan Argueta going up against Gene Matsumoto, a fight that I'm very excited for, but I do believe the 24-year-old Gene Matsumoto has the overall advantage in this matchup. Argueta might be able to land some takedowns and get some control time, but I expect Matsumoto to efficiently work back to his feet and outstrike Argueta and hurt him repeatedly throughout this matchup, landing the more damaging blows, making it look better for the judges, and nullifying the control time and allowing Matsumoto to win this fight by decision. Next up, we got Piera Rodriguez going up against Cynthia Calvillo. Rodriguez suffered her first professional loss last time around against Jillian Robertson, and now she goes up against Cynthia Calvillo, who's on a career-worst 5-fight losing streak, looking to save her UFC roster spot, and luckily for her, I think she has the perfect matchup to do it with. I expect Calvillo to get back to her classic grappling game, where she should be able to get Rodriguez to the ground, grind her out, and open up a submission opportunity where she will eventually get the tap. Give me Calvillo by submission. Next up, we got a short notice matchup here between Victor Hugo and Pedro Falcao. Falcao was on the 2021 season of the Contender Series, ended up getting a third round stoppage, but not impressively enough that Dana did not give him a contract that night. Falcao sat on the sidelines for about 2 years before returning back in November on the regional scene, where he was able to get a second round submission, showing off his BJJ black belt, which I believe will come in handy for him here against Victor Hugo. Look for Falcao to dictate the pace and where this fight takes place so that he can go out there, drag Hugo to the ground, grind him out, and win this fight on the scorecards. A little bit concerning considering the super short notice nature of this matchup, but I do think Falcao is the better fighter here, and I expect him to get his hand raised on the scorecards. Next up, we got Norma Dumont going up against Jermaine de Randamie. It's been a long time since we've seen de Randamie in the cage, as it's been 3.5 years that she has prepped herself to get pregnant, got pregnant, gave birth last year, and is now returning to the cage at 39 years old, showcasing that she is still a high-level bantamweight and maybe find herself in a title shot if she's able to put together a couple quick victories here. I believe she is the better and more dominant striker between her and Dumont, and I believe we've seen enough defensive grappling improvements from de Randamie to make me believe she should be able to keep this fight in the striking realm, where she should be able to piece up Norma Dumont and win this fight on the scorecards. Obviously, there's a lot of X factors outside of the the cage that are playing into this matchup, which will ultimately make me pass here. But I think Randamie is the better fighter, and I think we'll see her show off her kickboxing and win this fight by decision. Next up, we got veterans Court McGee going up against Alex Morono here, and I think that Morono will showcase that he is just at a better place in his career than McGee, who is currently riding a 2-fight losing streak, both fights in which he has been knocked out. Look for Morono to really put the pressure on McGee, deal with the pressure and grappling and clinch of McGee effectively, and then eventually turn the tide and really start to march him down, walk him down, landing big shots, and eventually finding a finish of his own in the second or third round. Next up, we got a banger of a matchup between Trevor Peek and Charlie Campbell, a fight that is surely to produce fireworks, but if Campbell minds his P's and Q's and utilizes his range management well here, he should be able to land his more technically better strikes than Peek, keeping him at range, and I could see this fight leaking into the second and third rounds, but I do ultimately think it's going to be Campbell that eventually finds the finish in the second or third round, being the superior fighter here, but this should be chaotic as any Trevor Peek fight normally is. Next up, we got the debut of Johnny Walker's brother, Walter Walker, as he takes on Lucas Brzeski. I was pleasantly surprised by Walker's skill set, as I expected him to just be a heavyweight that just goes out there and throws big power, but he put together his unblemished 11-0 record with a solid all-around game. He has some decent striking. He's towering at 6'6", but also utilizes that style by taking his opponents to the ground and grinding them out from that top position. He's usually been outmatching his opponents on the regional scene by being the far bigger fighter, but luckily for him here, I don't think he has too much to worry about Brzeski, as he should be able to get this fight to the ground and do what he did on the regional scene. Look for Walker to be competitive in the striking realm, but eventually drag this fight to the ground where he should be able to grind out Brzeski and win this fight on the scorecards. Next up, we got Ignacio Bahamondes going up against Christos Giagos. Clear striker versus grappler matchup here, although the grappler has some big power early on in this matchup, but if Bahamondes can avoid the big power of Giagos, really start to wear on him, chip away at the gas tank, he should be able to find the finish in the second or third round by submission or TKO, but I could see why people like the chalk here on Bahamondes, as he is the better all-around fighter. Look for him to wear down Giagos and finish him in the second or third round. Next up, we got the pride of Paris, France, Morgan Charriere going up against Chepe Mariscal. Mariscal has made a career out of fighting some of the toughest competition on the regional scene, so it's been great to see him come into the UFC and go on a 2-fight winning streak. I expect his pace, output, and style to be too much for Charriere to keep up with, and unless Charriere is able to knock him out in the first or second round, I expect Mariscal's activity and output to be too much for Charriere, causing him to slow down and opening up possible finishing opportunities for Mariscal in the final round of this matchup. My official prediction will be for him to win by decision, but taking a little bit of a sprinkle at plus 2,200 for Mariscal to win in the third round is not a bad idea. Moving over to the co-main event, we got Alexander Hernandez going up against Damon Jackson. Very fun fight here that I expect to deliver a finish. So the under 2.5, not a bad spot. But I do think that Alexander Hernandez's takedown defense, as well as the striking advantage here, should allow him to really bust and hurt Damon Jackson and possibly finish him in the second round of this fight. Damon will obviously be looking to take this to the ground, but I think that Hernandez should be successful in keeping it upright and then just utilizing his explosiveness and speed to really touch up Damon Jackson and knock him out in round 2. And the main event, rematch between Brendan Allen going up against Chris Curtis. Obviously, these guys met at the ending of 2021, where Allen ended up coming up short and getting knocked out by Chris Curtis. And I expect that result to happen once again, as I think that Curtis's durability, takedown defense, and striking advantage should be able to keep this fight in the striking realm. And we'll see Curtis really dictate the pace here. And I think he'll be able to crash the pocket and eventually find the chin once again of Brendan Allen, cashing as an underdog once again. And by knockout at plus 300, sign me up. There you guys go. Quick picks for UFC Vegas 90. A ton of other great content that I've dropped throughout the week. So make sure you guys check out the YouTube channel. If you haven't already hit that subscribe, that is the least you can do for your boy, as I drop content pretty much every single day of the week. Appreciate all the love. Appreciate all the support. Good luck on all your action this weekend, folks. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the free parlay and the 3 best prop bets. Peace.